Okay, welcome back everybody. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and I'm going to make my top 10 best games of this latest chess tournament, well, at least for the Canada's chess tournament. One of the most exciting tournaments of all time. Like, it's crazy. The amount of drama, suspense, and twists and turns this tournament took was unbelievable. And how I made these rankings, I used a point system. So as you can see on the screen, I have 5 categories. Each category could get a maximum of 5 points. First one, interesting moves, an interesting game. That's mostly talking about the opening. So how interesting is the opening? What's kind of the storyline going into it? And just how interesting does the moves feel? Looks like brilliant moves are a lot more exciting to see. The next category is complex game. Now, I'm like 1200 blitz on chess.com. I'm not very good at chess. I'm like the average Joe. So a lot of my perspectives and opinions come from that fact that this is what I feel like most people would feel. I think. So complex game is like, oh, how crazy does this game seem? And if I was in this position, could I even make a move? So that's kind of how the complex game works out. Next one, importance for the standings. Obviously, if you have a game between the 2 last place players, doesn't really matter. Not very exciting, doesn't affect anything. Even then, someone who's in first place playing someone in last place, that's also not as exciting. What's really good is like the people in second place battling together. Oh, that's exciting. Next one, lots of swings. That's like, oh, he has a winning position. Oh, no, he messed up. It's a draw now. Oh, now he's losing. Oh, back to a draw. Oh, he's winning. And it's just up and down, roller coaster. That's very exciting to see. Last one, time pressure. Classical chess is hard to watch when they're sitting there thinking for 15, 20 minutes. So when they get low on time around move 40, that's when it gets really rampant, really fast, and really exciting. So I measured all of them. And just to go to show, for my number 10, they scored 13.5 points for the game. But number 1 was so crazy, it scored 23.5. And a half. Oh my god. Anyways, we are going to get now into number 10. Number 10, Oh, sorry, I mixed up the names. It's supposed to be Nakamura versus Fabiano. I mixed up the names. That's okay. So this game is the second game that they played each other. I forget what round it was, but it was the start of the second round. So it'll be round 8. And it opens up classic E4, E5. And they go play the Ruy Lopez Spanish Classic. And this is all pretty standard so far. Nothing too crazy as of yet. They keep going. And now we're getting something more interesting. Now the players are starting to think. Still pretty tame, I would say. Nothing too crazy. And so for this game, one of the reasons why it's in 10th place, not higher, is because, as you can see, it's kind of a little tame right now. Nothing too insane going on. But now we're getting into some interesting stuff. Now it gets more complicated. Now this is where a game gets really interesting. Now, most of this game was also pretty even on the evaluation, as you can see, which is another thing that hurts it. But now we're getting into some really wild stuff, because now there's pieces all over the place, and it gets a lot more complicated. And now, of course, Nakamura, oh, he messes it up. Oh, no. And then Fabi immediately blunders back, because now we are getting in low time pressure. Now it gets really interesting. Trades, puts the knight there, queen here, and then Fabi makes a huge blunder. And Hikaru just wins, because he's going to win the queen. Or checkmate. So this game was 10th place. Because a lot of the games in this tournament were draws, but this one's in 10th place. A lot of it's just because of the storyline, because Hikaru and Fabi have a little bit of a rivalry, and this is like the 4th time in a row with the white pieces that Hikaru has beat Fabiano. The game itself was kind of tame, wasn't too incredibly interesting, and it was kind of determined on mostly one blunder. So that's why that one's in 10th place. Now, number 9. Nepo versus Vidit. Now, this game, you might be surprised why it's ranked number 9 and why it's even on the list. But let's keep going. As you can see, Berlin. Classic Berlin, okay? I'm sure he's going to play D3, anti-Berlin. Oh, no. He goes straight for the Berlin endgame. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why, like, this is number 9? It's the Berlin endgame. This is horribly boring. Like, what's so exciting about this? Just watch. It gets really interesting. Notice, They're still all playing the moves. Now, fide takes a super long think there. Super long think. And Nepo still in preparation. Still in prep. And now he's starting to think. So this game was a really good showcase of preparation from Nepo, because he knew that fide doesn't really go to this endgame very much. So he prepared very well. So the opening was very interesting choice, because I was not expecting this. But then the game gets even more interesting as fide tries to go over there on the queen side, centralizes rooks, and now the pawns are starting to advance. And like this position, I would lose this all the time, both colors, no problem. But Nepo, he breaks through. Now the question is going to be, are these pawns going to be able to advance? Is this pawn going to advance? And he does. And he does. And just like that, he wins. So the reason I think this one's so exciting, there was a little bit of time pressure, but I think it was just the opening that Jan used, the pure domination. I don't know, it wasn't very sweet. This game was just also very important for the standing. This is one of the games that had Jan just scream out into first place. So this one is number 9. Number 8, Prague versus Gukesh in round 2. Now this game, so far pretty tame, Catalan. But now it's getting interesting. Because now, as you can see, Prague is just down a pawn. And yet he's still in his preparation. He's just down a pawn, and Gukesh has used a lot of time here. Still in his prep, pretty much. But it's a mistake, but yet it's like he's not thinking. And then there comes a mistake. Now it gets spicy. But now he blunders right back. As you can see, he used a lot of time here. This is his first time. So he's out of his preparation now, and the second he's out of preparation, makes a mistake. But then they keep blundering back. So this game is super swingy. Ups and downs, ups and downs. It's hard to even tell who's winning sometimes. Keeps blundering. But then there's this amazing, brilliant move. Sacrifices the bishop for 2 pawns. As you see, Prague's just down a piece. And he's worse. But he's hoping for an attack of some kind. But it just never happens. Gukesh defends very well. And then Prague just kind of overpresses, and then there's nothing you can really do. So this game showed really, really fantastic preparation from Prague. But then, a second he forgot his preparation, Gukesh just bounced on it. But they were both up and down, swinging back and forth. I could totally imagine a scenario where this game was 50-50, and Prague could have won easily, I think. I think it was just, a gamble, but there's a lot of time pressures. This game was really dynamic, really interesting. And that's why I have this one at number 8. And I feel like this one's really important for the standings looking back on it, because if Prague wins this game, or it's a draw, maybe Gukesh doesn't get on this hot streak that he goes on. Anyways, number 7, Gukesh versus Firouzja. Now this is their second time face each other. Last time, Firouzja actually beat Gukesh. Anyways, let's see how this one goes. E4, E5. Anti-Berlin, but Firouzja's already doing some interesting things, but they're both in prep. Now Firouzja's, no, they're still in both prep, but Firouzja's starting to think a little bit more, and so is Gukesh. Now we're out of the opening. Pretty tame opening so far. Oh, now the center is going to open up, and the pieces are coming off, so now it's a bit more tame. So why does this one get so exciting? Well, right now, it's basically it's getting close to an end game now. But now, Firouzja, as you can see, Firouzja's down on the time. So this is why this game is ranked number 7, is because the time pressure really factors in. And now the game gets really, really complex, because there's both kings are weak, heavy pieces everywhere. It's hard to tell who's actually winning. But Gukesh, he goes, he defends, but they repeat moves. Is he gonna repeat? No, he's not. Trades, okay, going more to an endgame. Is he better? Okay, so Firouzja messes up, but it's like hard to tell why. It's hard to tell what's going on here. And there's a mistake. Oh, trades queens, and now it looks like Gukesh just has a winning endgame. So this game was all about the time pressure. And the time pressure that Firouzja always gets in made this game really exciting. And the complicated middle game that they had was also very interesting. So that's number 7. Number 6, Pragnananda versus Hikaru. First time they played each other, it was a draw. This game is, what the hell is this? what is Hikaru playing here? What is this opening? What is this opening? And why is this number 6? So number 1, this game got big points for the opening. It's a very interesting opening. You don't see this one very often, so it got big points for that. As you can see, Hikaru's in time. He's putting pressure on Prague. Still, but now he's thinking. So now what? We're in an endgame. Okay, Prague's low on time, but it's a pretty complicated endgame, but not really. It's still pretty even, so it's like, okay, it's not that exciting yet. Interesting opening. But where does it get spicy? Where does it get spicy? Right here, right here. Okay, now it's getting more and more complicated. Prague makes a mistake. Okay, now it's a little bit more complicated. It's even material, but it's getting more and more complex. Because the kings are in the center of the board. Knights are dropping everywhere. But now it's getting at hunts, and now it's just a simple endgame. And then Hikaru just slowly converts. Now, one thing I liked with this game, it wasn't necessarily the most complicated game, but some of the moves towards the middle game here. Sorry, let me just get to it. Like some of these rook maneuvers here were very, very interesting. When the rook comes shooting across like this, like all these rook moves shooting across this, I don't know, I found this game to be very exciting. But it's most of the opening choice is what did it. Because this opening is just so strange and so rare. Anyways, that's number 6. Number 5. Fabiano versus Ferrugia. Now, this was their first time meeting, was it? Or the second time? No, second time. So this is a very critical round for Fabi. Gukesh and Jan are running away with the tournament. He's got to win. What does he decide to do? Well, Ferrugia plays a Sicilian. Now, I bet Fabi really like to see that. So you know it's going to be a good game when it's a Sicilian. Okay, standard opening so far. Nothing too spicy. Okay, now I got queenside. Now we're going to have a fighting game. Oh, what was that? Oh, there goes a piece. But what's going on here? Fabi's up a queen, but he's not taking it. Okay, so now we're getting... The queen's just hanging. No one's taking it, but he's pinned, so he has to. But the material's still even. But this game is getting really complicated. It's a really interesting attacking game. As the places start opening up. They each trade off a pawn. Doesn't go for the bishop. Goes to take the knight instead. And now we're getting into an endgame. And pretty swingy game, but Fabi was almost always in control. But then he slowly just wins it. Now, if we go back to here, as you can see, one of the big factors in this game that made it interesting was the time pressure. Look at how low these guys got on time. This is only move 35. They still got 4 moves to make before they hit time control. So this is where this game to watch live was really exciting because we were like, oh my god, is he winning? And then even when they get to this endgame, they still get pretty low on time. So this game was very exciting from the beginning. They had a really interesting opening with the Sicilian and very clear attacking game from the start. Including, especially when he castled, because he didn't castle because he can't. He'll lose his bishops, and his king stuck in the center. A very interesting attacking game that ended up going to a complex endgame when they had all the pieces come off. But obviously the time pressure really was a big factor this one. Anyways, number 4. Prague versus Fabi. Now this was this is the round before the final round. Fabi is essentially in a must-win game. He's essentially in a must-win game. So already, this puts really big points for the standings. And he plays the Sicilian. Oh, okay. This can be spicy. Immediately, double pawns. Looks a little spooky. And the game's really closed already. So now it's like, okay, this position, it's really closed. Is it going to be a draw? Oh, maybe not. But still really closed. But then Prague pulls off something really interesting here. Where is it? It's right here. He chooses intentionally to sacrifice the exchange Why? Because how is Fabi going to break in? This one little idea to basically give up the rook for the knight is really interesting, because then it's like, Fabi, what are you going to do? So they keep playing, and this turns into a very long maneuvering game where it's like no one can really make progress. Because Fabi's better, but like, just because you're better doesn't mean you can win. So you have to prove it. Keeps going. Oh, what was that? It was a miss. Not necessarily a mistake. Alright, so we're still pretty equal. Nothing's really happening. Oh, now he's starting to make mistakes. He's allowing Fabi to break through. Now it's opening up. All of a sudden, the whole dynamic of the game changes. They're getting low on time. And then it just, he kind of falls apart at the end. We have this nice little brilliant move to kind of seal the deal. So this game got really interesting. There was that, where was it? It was way back here somewhere. This really interesting knight sacrifice into Fabi later on opening up the position somehow, because Prague kind of allowed it. And then the whole position opens up. So this one's exciting to me because the complexity goes from it's a really closed position to all of a sudden it opens up. And that's why this one's number 4. Number 3, Nakamura versus Firouzja. Let's see how this one goes. A French. Okay, already kind of interesting. A weird French. Okay, so far it's pretty interesting. This weird queen check, very strange. So from the start, the opening's very odd. As well as Hikaru is kind of in a must-win game here, because the leaders are kind of taken off right now, and he can't allow that. Anyways, it opens up a little bit, and now, oh man, that pawn is getting really close to the end. And oh my god, there's a miss. Okay, Firouzja might be okay. Sacrifices the knight for 2 pieces. But I guess Firouzja didn't have to go for that, but now his thinking is, well, that pawn is, how are you going to get rid of that pawn? That pawn's really scary. And the rest of this game is all about this pawn. Can Firouzja make that pawn a queen? And Hikaru just corrals it. And then just slowly works his way up. And also this is very complicated endgame. And then, of course, slowly just wins. But this one was a really interesting game. Because even here, they're getting low on time, at least Firouzja is. Sorry about that. But where this game got interesting was just even the opening. But when Firouzja chose to, where was it? Right here. When Firouzja chose to take 2 pieces for the rook, it's like, okay, but now all Hikaru had to do is take this pawn. So this pawn right here was a very interesting pawn, and the whole game was kind of played around this. If Firouzja can get it through, he wins, but if he can't, Hikaru wins. So this was a very exciting game to watch. Oh, sorry, I misspelled that. That's supposed to be number 3. Anyways, number 2. Oh, look at this. Firouzja versus Gukesh again, but this time in the first round. This was actually pretty important for the standings, because right now for Gukesh was doing pretty well. He was basically tied for first. And then, what is this, a London? It's almost like a tilted London, like, I don't know, Alvarez just wanted to, he was just tilted, so he played the London? Okay, already pretty boring. Why is this number 2? The London, okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Oh, spoiler, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. What is this rook move? Rook to h3? Okay, I guess he's just going for a pure attack. Okay, yeah. So we have a really interesting complex attacking game here. And now there's pawn sacrifice. Everything's going everywhere. Pawn sacrifices everywhere. This game is crazy. But now you can see, look at their time. Look at their time. They're only on move 25. So they're going to get really low on time. Keeps going very complicated. Whoa, okay. Brilliant move. But now it's like, okay. Now it gets really spicy. They only have they're low on time. They still have a lot of moves to go. So who's going to have better pressure, okay? Okay. Gukesh is faltering under the pressure. All of a sudden, he makes a big mistake and a big attack, and then all of a sudden he loses. So this game is number 2, because A, the London system was a surprising choice, and it ended up leading to a really interesting attacking game where the rooks are coming up, going for an attack. And all of a sudden, like, there's pawn sacrifices. Like, you take the pawn, but then the knight's hanging. And it's like, it's all crazy stuff. Like, a lot of stuff hanging everywhere. It's very complicated. It sacrifices a pawn to take this. Like, there's complications everywhere. Like right here, it's like, takes, I don't know what I would play here. It's a very complicated game. And mixed with the time pressure, it gets really exciting. And then watching Gukesh blunder this checkmate was very, very heartbreaking for the guy. But it ended up working for him. But now, number one. I am sure there is no doubt as to what number one is. And if you don't know, my God, this game was exciting. Number one, Fabiano versus Nepo, round 14, final round. The Gukesh Hikaru game was interesting, but it ended up just being a draw. So it wasn't that exciting. But this game, oh my God, these guys basically, someone has to win. Somebody has to win. Otherwise, Gukesh just wins the whole tournament. And then playing for a win, Fabi plays d4. It's a very strange choice. Okay, Nimzo. Oh, now okay, transpose to, what is this? Okay, Nepo's getting really aggressive, pushing these pawns up. Okay, so Nepo's basically, he might overextend here, but he's going for it. He is going for the win. Takes the pawn. Like, these pawns are really far advanced, but yet Fabi is better. Castles queenside, gets out of the attack. But he's making mistakes, but it's okay because it's just so complicated. Look at these. Look at this weird pawn system here. There's pawns everywhere. Okay, but it gets really, really complicated. And he has this nice move here, g4. That's a really nice move. Helps keep that side stable. There's so many pawn sacrifices, and now the game gets really, really good right here. Because now we're getting really complicated. Because that pawn, what game was it? It was the Nakamura Faruja game where there was that pawn who was at that square, one square away from queen, but it was blockaded. So the question is, can Fabi get this pawn to queen, or can Nepo stop it? As you can see, Fabi, clear, he is super better. And now the knight is basically pinned, because takes, you basically lose a rook. So the knight is pinned. What is going on? Okay, takes the pawn, doesn't do a queen trade, okay. And now, but hold on a second. All of a sudden, Nepo's pawn is getting really close to the end here, okay. Okay, that was a good move there. Threatening checkmate and forking the pawn. So he wins a pawn. Okay, Fabi's killing it. Oh yeah, this is pretty scary. One square away, but I think because he has the queen and the rook here, and in worst case the bishop can protect as well, I don't think that pawn's getting through. So it's looking really good for Fabi. Nepo's trying though. Now Fabi's going to start pushing his pawns. They're getting closer. What's going to happen? Okay. Plays this move. Okay, I think it's the last move before time control. Not a bad move. But then, oh no. Nepo sacrifices his rook. And it's like, you kind of have to take it, otherwise the rook comes down here. So you kind of have to take it. Okay, now we both made the time control. Okay. So the time pressure fade. Oh no. He immediately messes it up. Oh no. Okay. There's hope, because this is still kind of complicated, given that this pawn is here, one square away, but it's blockaded. This pawn is running for it. Still anyone's game. Oh, hey! Blunders it back. Okay. So now, Fabi, you're winning again. You're winning. Good job. Nice. Okay. No, okay, that's fine. You're still winning. Okay, good. Fabi, you're doing it. Keep it going. Yes. Push that pawn. Also, that was mate, so you have to defend it. Push that pawn. Okay. It's spooked. Okay, a fork, but you can check. And you're fine. Tax queen. Okay. Fabi, you're winning. Oh, no. So, in this position, the best move is rook d1 to attack the knight. I guess the knight comes back. It comes here, but then you have a discovered check. But then where's the knight going to go? Because if you go here, like the knight can't go anywhere good. Just go back, so that doesn't matter. So why is that a mistake? I don't know, but he still looks like he's winning because his pawn's one square away now. Okay. Okay. He's doing it. Okay, don't repeat, Fabi. Oh, Fabi, you're not supposed. Because now if he goes back, it's a draw. It's a draw, but he can't have a draw. Okay, he's playing on. Okay, playing on. Come on. Okay. Rook to e4. That's a really exciting move because when he takes, now there's this check, and he takes the knight. Okay, so now he's up a pawn. But how is he going to win? How is he going to win? He has to get that pawn there, but this queen always spies it. So how are you going to get there? He just makes a queen anyways. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now it's queen and 2 versus queen and 1. And then, as you can see, it goes to a draw. And sadly, Fabi threw away his advantage, and the game was a draw. Now, this game was easily the most exciting because it did, even though it was d4, it did have a surprisingly interesting opening. Nepo was attacking. Fabi had a lot of good chances. It's a really interesting attacking game. And it transfers into this kind of weird middle game that's clearly going to go to an end game. And it gets to this point where Fabi has a pawn here, but then Nepo takes it. But then he has a lot of pressure. And eventually, Nepo gets his own pawn right towards the end. And then the whole game was played around that pawn pretty much. And if Fabi, the whole game was this pawn versus this pawn. Can this pawn make it to the end before that one loses this blockade? So this was a very interesting and exciting matchup. But then Nepo just kept finding these interesting maneuvers, interesting perpetual check threats. And Fabi, under time pressure, man, again, under time pressure, he kind of fell. And then that was just kind of the story. I think the story of this game was time pressure. So this game had it all. It had the importance for the standings. It had a complex game. It had an interesting opening. It had everything. And what blows my mind is that I think every other game on this list is a win. And yet number 1 is a draw. That's how exciting this game was. This might be one of the most complicated, exciting games of the year. I think this will probably go down as the best, most entertaining chess game of the year. And it's just such a complicated, interesting game. And to watch this live, oh my god, my heart was racing. I felt so bad for Fabi. And even Nepo felt bad for Fabi afterwards. So anyways, that's my number 1. That's my top 10 favorite games of the candidates. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day.